From head to toe, fashion defines a day at Churchill Downs. After 150 years, carefully crafted ensembles have become about much more than just standing out. New for you this morning, Grace McKenna shows us how they tell a story about the people who wore them and the unique times through which they lived.
It's bright, it's bold, it's a sure bet. Fashion on the first Saturday in May is as ever-changing as the field of competitors and the Kentucky weather. But even 150 years ago, before the pastels and the patterns, the aim was the same.
Horse racing was a social sport. You were coming to see and be seen at this place that was pretty much the apex of society.
The clothes from those early years tell the stories of their time, stories now preserved by Kentucky Derby Museum curator Jessica Whitehead.
There was a really significant transition in the way men and women were dressing in American culture in the transition from the 1900s, 1910s into the 1920s and 1930s, and that was the innovation of sportswear.
Though modern fabrics and colors widened the spectrum of possibility, decades of derby goers past still found ways to stand out.
They call it shrimp pink.
In 2024, though, even more iconic than an electric ensemble is what tops it off.
This whole idea of the derby hat, that was a major change in derby fashion history that came around, right at this big transitional time in American culture.
Whitehead says during the 50s and 60s, as hats became less common in daily life, they found a new purpose as a derby staple. And from the very beginning, people took risks with whimsy.
There's always been a tension between really traditional fashion and really traditional ensembles and sort of outlandish. I just love how clever it is to make Viking horns into the twin spires. It's just inspired.
A wide-brimmed hat was long the standard look. The Whitehead says in more recent years, a European transplant, the Fascinator, wedged its way to the front of the pack.
European fashion was so integral to the founding of the Kentucky Derby fashion tradition that now we're seeing European fashion influencing it again. Fascinators are something that Americans latched onto during the whole craze of the major royal wedding.
This summer, Whitehead has the tall task of documenting the decades in a new exhibit, a collection of past derby ensembles sourced from people's own closets and wardrobes.
We're so excited to be celebrating the 150th anniversary of the Kentucky Derby.
The goal is to tell the story of fashion from 1875 to 2024 and every year in between.
This is a great example of the way that fashion had to sort of adapt to the times and how derby fashion can help us tell the story of the Kentucky Derby.
After all, if the clothes make the man, then fashion history is really about our shared story.
You're sending a message about your individuality, about your selfhood, about where we are at this particular time in history.
And that is a story worth remembering.